channel.
You know what time it is.
What time is it, man?
Welcome everyone to another episode of Beat On, the segment and channel where two worlds collide. I am your host, Class. This is my co-host.
Mr. J, what's going on, guys? We have another one for you. We would like to remind you, if you like this channel or these videos, go in the section below. Like, comment, subscribe, and always share.
Yeah. And without further ado, today's episode is going to be an interesting one because currently, right now, there's been a show that had been on Disney Plus, and if you haven't heard about it, it's Marvel's Invasion or Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion. And honestly, I'm a mixed bag right now with it, but so far, not too bad. So we're going to talk about some characters today. We're going to talk about particular characters from particular particular realms. So I'll be representing today DC Comics realms from the Court of Owls, the Talons. Okay. So let's talk about the brief origin story of the Talons. Well, in order to talk about the Talons, you gotta talk a little bit about the Court of Owls. Now, let me get kind of super quick. They're pretty much the Illuminati of the world, in DC and Gotham's world. So for many, many years, apparently there's been a secret society forming and building through like secret back ways and stuff like that, how to run Gotham City without anyone knowing. Eventually, Bruce finds out about it, and when they hear that he knows, or that Batman knows, they decide to send a Talon. Now, a Talon is a special assassin, but it's not just any ordinary assassin. It's an assassin dressed in the type of an owl clothing that is the enemy and the nemesis of a bat. Now, a Talon is also not only just human, but also immortal at some point, because once they die, there's some kind of special chemical compound created in them to bring them back to life. So they're not just human anymore. Now they're like zombies. So now you're going against an assassin zombie. So yeah, that is. So in the first counter with a Talon versus Batman, Bruce was not wearing his clothes, and he went 1-on-1, and he won on the first round. But sadly, that the second time didn't do us his favor, but the first round, he won that round. So yeah, that's a brief origin story of the Talon. Alright, so let's talk about the powers, abilities, and feats. These Talons are selected by the Court of Acrobatic Children from Haley Circus, which has been a practice for many years. Every Talon is trained very young, breaking them down and building him or her back up. Once ready, they work closely with the court until their death. Okay, so here are the abilities they have. They have Electrum, Enhancement, Enhancement, Immortality, Regeneration, Flexibility, Intelligence, Superhuman Durability, Superhuman Speed, Superhuman Strength, Acrobatics, sorry, I keep butchering that, Demolitions, Espionage, Gadgetry, Intimidation, Martial Arts, Stealth, Swordsmanship, Marksman, Tactical Analysis, Throwing, Weaponry, and their feats they've taken on Batman, Birds of Prey members, Katana, Black Canary, Poison Ivy, and Starling, Nightwing, Batwing, Jonah Hex, and Green Arrow themselves. Beware of the this is before they were actually shown. They were a nursery rhyme, so this is how it started. This is the nursery rhyme. Beware of the Court of Owls that watches all the time, ruling Gotham from a shadow perch behind granite and lime. They watch you at your, I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, hearth. They watch you in your bed. Speak not a whispered word of them, or they'll send a Talon for your head. That's pretty dope. I love how DC kind of gets into the whole, like, hey, we should do a rhyme with this, like Green Lantern's light, or God, it's like Atragon, you know? Alright, so let's talk about the end game in this fight, how a Talon could win this fight. Now, I'm going to give it to a Talon for the capability of fighting style. I do believe they might be more capable of throwing down better than a Skrull. I'm sure a Skrull has the capabilities of fighting in very skilled ways, but they usually probably rely more on their super strength and shape-shifting abilities in order to kind of beat their enemies compared to actually fighting in a very tactical style where compared to the Talons. Now, another thing is the Talons, of course, they have the healing factor to their favor. They can keep regenerating their bones and stuff like that. But there's obviously one problem. Eventually, there's a large enough object that could smash them or something. So the thing is, for the Talon, is quickly get it done. In order to make sure, because the Skrulls, let's face it, they got all the shape-shifting ability. They can make anything out of their body into a weapon. So it gives them more of an advantage to be able to cut their throat or smash them with something heavy or any kind of opportunity. So a Talon needs to do the quick kill in order to really get the victory on this one. Because if he lets the Skrull last long enough in a fight, I do believe the Skrull will figure a way to shift it to something that would be deadly enough to probably put a Talon down for a temporary amount of time, or find another way to really take it apart. So again, a Talon's best bet is quickness in this type of fight, which I do believe a Talon does have. Now, super strength wise, I'm not really worried about super strength. I do believe both of them are on the evenly matched on that end. And one movie, if you've seen the animated movie of these Talons, they were able to rip into a Batman's bolt or something like that. When they were trying to close this bolt off of them, they just ripped through it. So I do believe strength-wise, they are on that same level as the Skrulls to be able to fight them. Throw maybe the same type of objects. And even if the Skrull does throw an object, again, a Talon is very fast and flexible. So they're going to be able to dodge whatever comes their way. And their acrobatic skills is going to help them jump over a solid object, even if it's big or long or wide. Another thing I want to bring up is a Talon in a front one-on-one confrontation, I do believe has probably a better advantage than a Skrull will. Now, the reason I say that is because a corpse that never dies against a regular alien that eventually is using your shape-shifting abilities or throwing down for a long period of time is going to wear you out. Something that never gets tired against something that eventually is going to run out of juice does come into a factor here. You know, if they keep fighting for a long period of time, the Skrull shape-shifting abilities or even their strength themselves, they might need, like any other ordinary being, they might need sun, or they might need some food, or they might need water. Fighting something like that never stops, it's kind of hard to say you're going to be able to put it down. You would have to put it down immediately, but if you keep it in a long period of fight, one-on-one in a confrontation, I do believe a Skrull's going to get tired, and the Talon's going to be able to take advantage of that opportunity. Another thing I want to add, and probably my final point to this, is stealth. They might have the shape-shifting ability, but a Talon has stealth. And stealth does come into factor. Now, if you've heard of Skrulls, I don't think Skrulls have incredible hearing factors. I don't think they can hear a bug from a mile away or something, or I don't think they have incredible visions. I'm pretty sure the only thing they can do is imitate a person or shift into somebody's abilities and powers or whatever, or use weapons. But as far as do they have incredible hearing or spider senses kind of vibes? Nah, nothing like that. So, technically, a Talon could sneak up on a Skrull in a moment's notice. Now, in a fight, that's the element of surprise that a Talon could use to his advantage. He or she could get up out of nowhere, find a secure hiding building, a warehouse, just keep it quiet and silently get the Skrull into play. Skrull probably thinks, okay, I'll be able to get this thing before it gets me. But I do believe the quickness and the stealthiness of a Talon would be able to cut through a couple parts of a Skrull before a Skrull could see it coming. I do believe the acrobatic and the speed still comes into factor. I do believe the regenerated healing factor, even if a Skrull were to do some damage or get a cut through, and a Talon was still running from back and forth in hidden areas and hiding on different directions, I do believe that the Talon can again heal itself and continue on going after the Skrull. Eventually, a pitch of darkness, temporary or not being able to actually get the deadly blow it needs, I do believe a Talon will be able to eventually get the blow it needs to get the job done and finish this, getting the victory on this one.
Okay, my contestants today is Marvel's Skrulls.
Bye to the Avengers, to the whole world, all using my face. I didn't do anything. You did.
Now, going into their brief origin a little bit, it's changed from, depending on which continuity, which genre you draw from. from the shows, it's different from the movies or the comics and so on and so forth. Sorry, there's no movie. Well, there's a movie. Sorry. The Skrulls have basically been at war with the Kree for a very long time, which forced them to secretly come into Earth posing as different superheroes and different powerful political figures to hide themselves. And they've been doing it for years. And it wasn't until many years later that some of them were discovered, and that, they realized, or Earth realized, that there was kind of a secret invasion and that they had to do something about it. And that's the Skrulls' brief origin. Going into their abilities and their powers, they have their shape-shifting, obviously. I'm not entirely sure if they have enhanced vision. They do have enhanced hearing, from what I'm told.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how enhanced it is, but it's gonna sound mean, but that's kind of why their ears are big.
I thought it was for frequency or something.
Yeah, no, it does. That's literally what the book says. It's just
wow.
Yeah, because they have bigger ears, they can kind of hear better. But anyway, like you said, using their shape-shifting abilities, they are able to shift their limbs into non-organic things like weapons, such as a big hammer or a spike or a blade. They do have alien physiology, so they have enhanced strength, speed. Because of their highly adaptive abilities, they do have accelerated healing. They can live their lifespan is up to 2 centuries.
Damn.
Yeah. So going into the end game, I don't really think that the Skrull wants to play the stealth game with the Owl, or not the Owl, Talon.
A Talon, yeah.
I don't think they want to play the stealth game with them. As you've seen, they're kind of really good at hiding in plain sight, which is cool. But at the end of the day, I feel like the Talon is going to find the Skrull, and once they start to go one-on-one, I think that can really benefit the Skrull, actually, because if he uses his shape-shifting right and he transforms both of his limbs at the same time into a different weapon, one a hammer, one a spike, he could kind of play defense and offense at the same time. And when the Talon comes in, he just kind of stabs him and then uses his other hand and just kind of crushes his head. And that's how I see the Skrull taking it. But it's going to be a lot harder. It's a lot easier said than done, yes. But like you said, the Talons, they can be killed. It's just way harder. It's not going to be very easy for the Skrull, but with his shape-shifting ability and no, they might be stronger. But with his super strength and speed, I think they can pull this off. If it was a super Skrull going up against him, I would say the super Skrull had the advantage. But base Skrull, he's gonna have to try to wear him down, slice at his legs or whatever area is open for a little while, and then once he's exposed, give him the death stab, and then come at him with the hammer. Definitely, if the Skrull wasn't able to shapeshift his limbs into weapons, he'd have a much harder time. But since they have that ability, I just feel like it's going to be a lot faster for him to pull out weapons than it would be a Talon.
True.
So with that advantage coming in, I want to say the Skrull has it.
Stand for.
Okay. Yeah, I'll agree with that. I mean, yeah, there's always that possibility of a Skrull turning into a Talon, pretending to be one of its members. Be like, yo, we cool or whatever, and then the Talon not seeing him coming, and be like, oh, okay, cool, we already got the guy, and then turn around and be like, wait a minute, and go for the head after that. The off guard situation, it's possible when you're a shapeshifter, I guess. Especially since you can read the mind of another, of the person, and then obtain their information.
Yeah.
That's crazy,
I think it's only they can only do recent memories though.
Yeah. So like,
So if they go further into it, they'll be like, hey, wait a minute, you're not Carlos.
yeah, exactly. Like, there's just like a lot of deep dive into that. Like, you have to get into it with them. But yeah, no, I get that. Plus, a Talon's not gonna question another Talon. I mean, they're not exactly designed to talk to each other and be like, hey man, are you the same friend of mine? You know, they're more like, we obey orders. You know, we're zombies. You know, they're not gonna assume anything if another person looks like them and they're like, oh, okay, we're cool.
Yeah.
He's not coming.
Surprise.
Surprise! No. Anyways, but as always, though, Press fam, it's not really up to me and it's not up to my boy. It's up to you guys. So if you guys liked my argument, you know what you can do? You can hashtag the Talon. And if you like my boy's argument, what can you do, brother?
Hashtag scroll.
And as always, no Press fam, we really appreciate you guys. Much love. Catch you guys later. Peace.